Without that intervention, we may not be here.
Hey.
Hey, Kalina. So glad to have you.
Nice to meet you.
You excited? Looking forward to this?
I am. I haven't seen my dad since my wedding.
Which was when?
6 years ago.
Okay, 6 years.
Yeah. Hey there. How have you been?
Doing okay.
Sir, how are you?
I am doing
Good to
well.
see you. Good to see you.
Yeah. I am very proud of my daughter. We're currently living on opposite coasts of the country, so we don't get to see each other very much.
Here is your family tree that we built with our sponsor, Ancestry.
On my mother's side, my grandmother would have been Nelly Belle Springer.
Do you know anything about Nelly Belle Springer?
We knew her as Meemaw. And then her husband, Earl, died, I think, the year that I was born. I have another photo of someone who I didn't even know existed until recently.
Oh, wow.
Austin Springer. You see, he's in uniform.
Yes.
So I figured that's probably Civil War era.
Well, we do actually know a little bit about Austin Springer.
This is a draft index, and I want you guys to take a look at it and tell me if you recognize anything familiar.
Yep.
Oh, Springer, Austin D. Drummer. Austin D. Springer of Company of 7th Indiana Regiment, who was taken prisoner at the Battle of Fort Republic, June 9th, 1862.
He was captured.
Yeah, so he was a prisoner of war.
He was a prisoner of war.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got some military in your history?
4 years, just short of 4 years in the Navy, 71 to 75.
Okay, it's in your blood, right?
Yeah, right.
So tell me, where are we headed to?
Looks kind of like we might be going to Virginia.
Kalina, what do you think?
I think Virginia's probably a pretty safe bet.
Let's do it. June 9th, 1862, that was the Battle of Fort Republic. This field you're standing in is where that battle took place.
Right.
They fought right here. They stepped off from that road just behind you, and as they advance, they are making headway against elements of Stonewall Jackson's famed Stonewall Brigade.
Incredibly, we have passages from Austin's journal giving us his first-hand account of being a prisoner of war.
The Captured Drummer. The following diary and narrative was written by one of the prisoners taken at Fort Republic, Austin D. Springer. June 9th, I was left on the field by our little band attending to the wants of the wounded and was taken prisoner. We marched 9 miles to the summit of one of the Blue Ridge Mountains. We had not had anything to eat the whole day. We had no blankets. We could not sleep for cold.
And Paul, you knew your grandmother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is her father.
You can see it sort of sinking in for him that this was his great-grandfather, and seeing him connect with that and be here literally boots on the ground where Austin was boots on the ground means something.
You're not going to make us march the 9 miles, right?
Yeah, maybe let's start right now.
I wore the right shoes for it, so let's do this.
Now, they're going off the beaten path to learn more about the days their ancestors spent as a prisoner of war.
We're building fires and we're pitching tents and we're grinding coffee and we're cooking meat. I come from lines of fighters, of people who pushed through, and I can't help but think that even with all of my first world privileges, I have a lot of that to me.
To learn the rest of their ancestors' story, we're visiting the Bushong family farm.
We're here to discover what happened after he escaped.
Excellent.
It was in the farm slave quarters just like this where the enslaved African Americans gave Austin some much-needed help, which you can read about in his final journal entries.
In the evening, I climbed to the top of the mountain and saw a little log cabin, so I ventured in. A Negro woman told me that the man of the house was in the Army. I told her who I was. She was surprised, but her sympathy was nonetheless because I was a Union soldier, and she hoped I might get through safe. Just before the sun went down, I made an agreement with 2 Negroes that I saw plowing the field. They gave me my haversack full of bread and meat, and I thanked them time and again. I got in sight of the 7th on August 4th. Someone called out, "There's our drummer!" and in less than half a minute, I was surrounded, shaking hands with everybody. The next morning, I started to march, drumming with the rest of the band. He managed to get back to his comrades.
The enslaved African Americans, they sacrificed their food. They sacrificed their safety. They were then able to demonstrate the best parts of humanity.
Without that intervention, we may not be here.
We only have a finite amount of time. Nobody knows how much time you have. So having this experience with Kalina, it's time well spent.